Hello and welcome to another tutorial on Photoshop. So for this particular video we're gonna cover about how to render your architecture drawing that you produce, whether in Illustrator or in AutoCAD. For this particular task we will use A3 size, and we will use a landscape as well. Originally Photoshop has always worked on a single artboard. If you're gonna have like a second page, you always need to use like different files, but the updated version of Photoshop, they allow you to use artboard. Therefore it's pretty much looks like Illustrator, where you can have multiple artboards in one single file. You can do that in Photoshop as well for the updated version, but for this particular task I think we don't need multiple artboards, so we don't have to click it. We're just gonna cover the basic one for this video. So make sure that you have a 300 pixel per inch on the resolution, right? And then the rest is basically just by defaults, and we just create. So before we start, I think it's best that we cover the basic technical of Photoshop, right? So Photoshop works heavily on layers, right? So when we start a new file, this Photoshop will automatically give us a background as like a single layers of background. So you can't really do anything on the background. You can paint, you can put colors, but you can't erase it. Like if you want to erase it, you gotta have to paint it with white again. What you need to do is, before you start anything, you gotta have to add new layers, and this layers is like one whole paper that you can do whatever you want with it, right? So let's just do something on it, like for example brush, pick a colors, right? Blue colors, right? You can do this, you can do this. Now need to understand that these things over here, these lines over here, it exists on the layer, and it is like a paint on it. If you zoom in, it's pixelated. It is a rasterized format. It means that it's stay as it is. Like if you transform it and then you make it bigger, right, it's gonna be somehow pixelated. Okay, see that? It's gonna be a bit it's not as sharp as when it is smaller. So let's undo it. Okay, so when I move this, I move the whole layers, right? And if I decided to copy and paste this object, so copy and paste, right? If you look at the layers, it's add a new layers, right? As if this is one layers, and this this guy over here is another layers, right? And when you selected layer 1, you always like move the layer 1 only, regardless where you click. So this it exists as a whole layer. It is not an object, it is a layer, right? And then we copy and paste this one just now, and it exists as layer 2. So as you click layer 2, then you can move layer 2. If you want to move layer 1, you have to click layer 1 again over here on the layer tab. Then you can create then you can move your layer 1. All right. Another method is to right click and then on the subject, and then you click layer 2, and then it will automatically select layer 2, and then you can edit layer 2, right? If you try to erase it, for example, right, eraser, okay, so you erase layer 2. Right now you are on layer 2, so you can erase layer 2, right? But if you go here, there's nothing gonna happen on your layer 1 because you don't select your layer 1. You have to select it first, then something will happen on it. That's how Photoshop works. It works based on layers, right? That's the technicality of it. It's that just makes the difference with Photoshop and Illustrator. So first thing first, you are to import your drawing files into the Photoshop, right? So make sure that you export the drawing in PDF format. So let's just drag it. So if you drag on this, it will appear like that, right? So you got so if your PDF have a lot of page, you're gonna see like second page, third page, and fourth page over here, and you're gonna have to choose which page that you want to convert into Photoshop, because you can only do it on a single page. Okay, so let's just click OK, and it will appear there. After you import the image, you always need to press enter, or you click over here. So this is because the image is on a transform mode. Alright, so you gotta have to, because you can transform it. Right now you can actually make it bigger and smaller, right? And to basically end that mode, you're gonna have to press this tick icon, or you could just press enter, and it will settle on your page. Okay, so if you can see here, you just create a new layer with the plan. So the plan sit on this layer, which is plan, and then it has something over here, right? If you can see these symbols over here, you don't have it on the layer 1, but you have it on the plan. Now this shows that this particular layer is a smart object. Okay, now what is a smart object exactly? Now a smart object means that that object will not lose its resolution no matter how big we resize them, or no matter how small we resize them, right? For example, I would resize this plan that small. Okay, now if I'm gonna scale it back to its original size, it will not lose its quality. It will still stay as it is. Okay, now let's let me show you an example if it's not a smart object. So what I need to do is try to duplicate this layer, right? So when you duplicate, means that you have two of the same layer, right? So I'm gonna disable the original layer first, and we're gonna convert this into not a smart object. So if it's not a smart object, it means that it needs to be rasterized. Okay, if you want to change it into a smart object, right click on it again, and then convert a smart object, then it becomes smart object back. Okay, so if you rasterize it, that it will not, it is not a smart object anymore. So you can see here, you don't have that symbols anymore. So what happens if it's not a smart object? Say if I'm gonna scale it down, right, and press enter, and if I scale it up again, it will lose its quality, because you just you just transform a small subject into something big, and it will look quite pixelated, or will look it will lose its quality. So that's why you have a smart object. Okay, the thing about smart object is that you can't do anything about it. It stay as it is. Like you can't erase this thing, you can't paint a new, you can't put a paint on it, you cannot brush it, you cannot do nothing on it, right? It stay as it is. It's like unedited piece of layer. So that's the disadvantage of smart objects. If you want to edit this, you're gonna have to change it into rasterized layer. But then bear in mind that if you're gonna resize it, or you're gonna change it into another layouts where you're gonna have to work on how big it's gonna works with, that means you're gonna have to convert it into a smart object first before you start to do your work. Okay, for now we just make it a rasterized layer. So we just unsmart the object. It's no longer a smart object because we're gonna have to work on it. Okay, so let's just get rid of this. Right, so right now you have your plan on the layers, and then you have this dimension that you have. You're definitely gonna have dimension on your plan. All right, so once you import your floor plans or your architecture drawing into a Photoshop layers, or into a Photoshop, there is no guarantee that your plan is on the right scale. Okay, there's no guarantee that it is on the right measurement. So we know that this is 10 meter or 10,000 mm. So how we have to make sure that this is on the right measurement. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to determine what scale that we're going to use. Okay, so we're going to use 1 to 50 scale, right? So if it's 1 to 50 scale, yes, before that, see, even a text will appear as a single layer text. So it is, this text does not sit on any particular layer, it is a layer itself. So that's how Photoshop works. Okay, so that's 1 to 50 scale, right? We are doing a little bit of math right here, so bear with me. So we need to find out how long is this thing's gonna be in 1 to 50 scale, right? So this is 10 meter. So we're working with 1 to 50 scale. That means this line should be 20 centimeter. That means 200 mm long. So the length should be 200 mm on this paper. Okay, so what you do is that you need to you need to form, or you need to draw a line that has 200 mm length. Alright, let's just do that. So this is a line tool, do a line, that's it. So that's your line. Now if you look at here, this is the what do you call it, the details of these particular lines, right? Because you are on this line. Okay, now let's just change that to 200 mm. Right, so right now we know that on this paper, if you print this paper, this is 200 mm right now. So if you print it, it will appear 200 mm on your paper. So that's inform you that this particular wall that have 10 meter long should be this long if it's 1 to 5, if it's 1 to 50 scale. So what you need to do is that you just have to scale this whole plan. So in order for you to scale, you need to transform the plan. So to transform anything in Photoshop, you just press Ctrl T and you transform it, and it will enter a transform mode where you can scale it up and down, right? Or you can twist it, but we don't want to twist it. Okay, so let's just scale it to match the line. Right, zoom it a little bit so that we can get a clear view on it. So that's the end of that line, and that is the end of that line. Right, so that's it. So right now your plan is to scale 1 to 50. So we successfully scale. Let's get rid of this line, we don't need it no more. We successfully scale this plan to match 1 to 50 scale. Right, so this plan right here is 1 to 50. So you gotta have to do a little bit of math when it comes to scale, right? Because Photoshop, as for now, is probably the only visual software that you can do this, that you can actually be certain about the measurement of it. Photoshop and Illustrator, I would say, right? And then you print it and it will be to scale. Now, so let's proceed to rendering this plan. So we're not gonna render like this whole thing in this video. Let's just focus on this particular room. So we're gonna render this bedroom. What you need to do is basically find a texture images just right on Google, right? If you jump on Google and you could just write for example, we're gonna do the carpet right now. So carpet, hold on, texture image carpet. So there's a lot of it. You could just click the image and just choose which one you like. So let's just do this one. You could just try away copy this image and then return to Photoshop. Just press Ctrl V, which is paste, and then you have it here, right? If you look at the layer tab, see, this is your carpet. So maybe we can just rename it to be carpet, right? And just like Illustrator is actually works is actually work exactly how your layers looks like for example, if the carpet is on top, that means it will be on top of all the drawing. Okay, so you want the carpet to be under your plan drawing, so you have to drag it underneath it. Okay, and then it will be underneath the and then it will be underneath the plan drawing. Okay, so before we start our work, I think it's smart that we lock the plan layer so that it doesn't move, right? Right now it's moving. Okay, so just press the lock and then you can't move the thing, so it will it will have this thing pop out. So lock it so that it doesn't move, right? So go to carpet, go to layer carpet again, and then let's just match the thing. So right now I think I don't want to resize it, I want to duplicate it, right? So what you do is you arrange it here, and then you duplicate this layer. To duplicate, you just simply press alternate, and then you click on the things, and then you move, and then you start. It will automatically create a duplication of it, right? And then duplicate it again, and then duplicate it again, and there you have a bigger carpet, right? So once you do all the duplication, right, you can notice that your what do you call it, your layers are increasing as well, because each of this piece of carpet is basically each of these layers. So right now I want to merge all of them to become a single layer, so we can just select all of this for carpet. So hold down control and select all of them, right? If you don't hold down control, your key control, then you can't select all of them. So just press all your control key, and then you can select all of them. So right click and go to merge layers, right? Not merge visible, merge layers. Make sure you don't click the wrong thing. So right now your carpet layers are one single layers, right? Okay, so obviously I want the carpet to be here. So this excess carpet, you either transform it, scale it down to match the area, or you could erase it. Right, erase this part, and this is the window. We don't want to erase, we don't want the window as a carpet. Okay, there you have it, and then you just render the whole thing as a carpet, right? Now what about the bed? Let's just do the bed right now. So again, jump on Google. So what do you want to be the bed? Perhaps some fabric texture, red color. There you go, a lot of it. I think I'm gonna choose. It's always smart to choose like a that has the same color. It's not same color, like it doesn't have any shadow. Right, if you choose this one, it's hard for you to duplicate because it has like a bright parts and then a darker part. So try to choose something that has the same amount of light, I guess, right? So again, copy the image, just paste it here, and then you will automatically create a new layers. We're going to rename that layers as well, perhaps pillow, right? And make sure that you on the pillow layers, transform it. Okay, now on Photoshop, when you transform any object, it's always follow the proportion, the original proportion of the image, right? If you want to change it, you're gonna have to hold shift, right? Then you can like free transform the whole thing. If you let go of your shift, it goes back to its original layers, no, its original proportion. Okay, so I would want to just do that, right? Just include both of that pillows, and then hit enter, and it will settle down there. And I want to erase the whole thing, like we just want the pillow to be red. Okay, you can do that. So remember, your plan drawing is on top of this fabric layers, right? So when you erase it, you are not going to erase the plan drawing, you will only erase the layer. Yes. Okay, cool. Oh, that's very dark pillow. Anyways, the bed sheets. Now the bed sheets, perhaps something, yeah, something like the copy image and paste, transform, scale it down, right, and then hit enter. Okay, so this is bed sheet, right? So obviously the bed is underneath the pillow, so we can just drag the layers. Okay, now instead of erasing like we do just now, there's a more quicker way to do it, and that is by using this magic wand tools. Now what you can do is that you can go back to your plan, you can select using magic wand, you can select this area where you want it to be. Okay, click it again so that it becomes like, when if you don't like, if you do it a lot of time, you can see that it will select the blur part as well. So you just have to make sure that you have all of that. Okay, then before you proceed with the next step, you have to go back to the bedsheet layer. Okay, now what you do is that you inverse select, means that you select, instead of select this part, you are selecting whatever outside of the part that being selected. Okay, so just bear with me with this one. So how to inverse select? You hold down Control Shift and I. So right now you are not selecting this region, you are actually selecting outside of that region. Okay, so what you do is just you just hit delete, it will delete the rest of it, and then you deselect, and then you have your region that you want, right? So that's very easy to do. Okay, let's proceed with this too. Okay, so obviously this is gonna be white, and this is gonna be like probably the same color of this too. Okay, like just find a suitable one, or perhaps using the same one. Now if you look at the image just now, yeah, this one is good. Copy, paste, oh my god, transform it. Okay, Right, so like how we do it just now, go back to plan, and then magic tools, magic wand tools, and then select whichever area that you want it to be red, and then after that you inverse select, which is by pressing Ctrl and Shift and then I, and then you go back to the layer that you want to edit, and then you delete the rest of it. Right? Okay, let's just settle this one. This one is obviously white color. White, 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 white. You know, something quite smooth. This looks like a wall. Perhaps this one will do. Let's try this one. Right, copy, paste. Yeah, that looks nice. And go back to plan. Before you do the one tool thingy, right? One magic one. Before you do the magic one, make sure you are selecting the plan, because you want to select according to the plan layer, right? Then before you delete it, you make sure that you go back to that layer and then you delete it. Right? So you have it. There you have it. Your bed finally render. Okay, now for this table, I think a little bit of wood material would be nice. So let's just try to furniture wood texture. As long as you have the wood's texture is always come out with the texture, right? That's just how smart Google is. Copy that, paste, and then you have it. Oh my god, that looks so nice. So I'm just gonna use the same layer for both tables and the bed, whatever you call it, bed head bed. Go back to plan, select these two, and then inverse select them, and then go back to that particular layer that you have. Which one? I forgot to rename. Alright, cool. So it's actually this one. So now we can rename them wood, but wooden. There you have it. We just successfully rendered a bed and a side table. Right. What if a tile, for example, this is a bedroom. Sorry, this is a bathroom, right? So let's just go tiles textures, bathroom tiles textures. Got it. Yeah. Oh wow. I think I'm gonna do this one. Oh yeah, black is good. Copy image, go back to Photoshop, space. Before we do anything, just rename it so that we know which one is which one. Tiles, right? I think that's a little bit too big when it comes to the tile, so you can resize it. Okay, yeah, a little bit smaller, right? And then just hold down your alternate key, then you can duplicate it. And when you duplicate it, make sure that you do it like so that it's how should I say it? So that it's the same size as the rest of the tiles, right? And then duplicate them again, right? If you notice, you can sort of see this kind of thing, right? I think that's all right. It's pretty okay, because as you zoom out, it's not going to be that clear, right? So duplicate them again. Oh, that one is pretty clear, so we don't want to do that. Okay, so I guess we can just merge all the tiles right now and then just resize them again. Right, cool. This time I just want to erase the rest of it. Right, what I did just now, I just changed the size of the eraser quickly by just clicking with the eraser tools on, So I'm just click on the left button of the mouse, sorry, on the right button of the mouse, and then this is where you sort of change the size, right? It's easy to change the size this way. Okay, just left click, sorry, right click, and then you change the size of the brush straight away. Right, that's how you render a plan. Yeah. Okay. Now what if there's a something that you don't actually have any textures on it? For example, this sinks over here. Okay, what you can do is you can either do a brush tool, or you can do a live paint bucket. Sorry, you can use paint bucket tools. Okay, so in order for you to use it, it is highly recommended that you duplicate your plan drawing. Alright, so you duplicate your plan drawing, you duplicate your plan layer. Okay, so you duplicate your plan layer. So this one is unchanged, means like it's the original layer, but this plan is where we gonna do the live the painted one. So you paint on a different set of layer, so that means you need to unlock it. So you have one layer as a plan, right, another layer as a plan as well, but you're gonna use it to put a colors on it. So with the line, it's easy. With the line that you already have, it's easy for you to just do a bucket objects and then just put a line on it. One thing that you need to understand, one thing that you need to pay attention is that the more you use the paint bucket, the more it sort of like goes into the line, because that's how it works. Okay, so if you click it again, it's going to become like that. So that is why you always draw on the duplicate, or you always work on a duplicate plan layer. You don't put a live bucket, you don't put a paint bucket on your original, your only plan layer. You always have to duplicate it, and then you always have to work on the different layers. Alright, so that means even if you work and then multiple times and then you sort of like losing the line, you still have your original line on top of it, so it's still alright for you to work. Right, so there you have it. That's your sink with color. So if any things that have textures, you always need to render it with the textures, and it's easy for you to just jump on Google and then find different kind of photos and then just work with it in your Photoshop. If anything that doesn't have any texture, you could just use a live paint bucket tools, right? If you're not using paint bucket tools, for example this chair, right, you could use brush, set the right side brown, I guess, right, and then just color it. It will not color the line. By right is actually coloring the line. Coloring the line, see that? It's you are messing up with the line, but because you have another layer for the plan on top of it, so it's appear as if the line is still there. Well, basically the line is actually still there. So that is why you always need to work on a different layers. So do not work on your original drawing layers. Okay, always make a duplication of that layers. Alright, so that's it. I hope this is helpful for you guys, and I see you guys in the next video.